League of Uganda against the Kenyan High Commission in Uganda has been called off. The decision comes after a diplomatic intervention by the Kenyan government to resolve the issue amicably. The controversy began last week when the Kenyan-based Standard newspaper published a story attacking General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the chairperson of the Patriotic League of Uganda, as the Chief of Defense Forces.
You will recall that last year our embassy in Kenya was banned by some errant Kenyans, and the Kenyan government did not put in any effort to stop the actions. In the same country, on Friday last week, February the 28th of 2025, the Kenyan-based Standard newspaper ran a story and attacked our chairman, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is also the Chief of Defense Forces of Uganda. We were shocked by the contents of the story and asked for an apology and explanation from the Standard Media Group of Kenya. Thereafter, following this disparage story about our chairman, we as members of the Patriotic League of Uganda decided to retaliate through a peaceful demonstration at the Kenyan High Commission in Uganda to express our displeasure against the contents in the newspaper. This is now to inform the country and all our supporters that the planned demonstration, the Kenyan High Commission, has been called off due to the fact that the Kenyan High Commission has reached out to our chairman, who is also the CDF, in a bid to resolve this matter diplomatically.
The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanjas, today had an interface with the mover of the Private Members Bill, the Human-Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill, Sarah Opendi, and the Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng. The bill seeks to regulate services offered by the fertility centers in Uganda by ensuring that the health facility is not misused to the detriment of Ugandans. We have more.
In 2021, the woman member of parliament for Tororo District, Sarah Opendi, tabled a private members bill that seeks to regulate the new technologies in reproductive health services in the country.
The object of this bill is actually to regulate the various fertility care services or fertility care services in this country. As you are aware, we have various clinics that are operating and have been operating since 2003. But without any regulation. And if there is no law in place, there can be abuse in these fertility care services. So we needed to have a law to actually regulate the fertility care services in this country.
Today, Sarah Opendi, together with the Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, had an interface with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanjas, to harmonize on the bill, following a cabinet directive on the matter.
It is essential to address the challenges faced by individuals and couples dealing with infertility and to offer hope through regulated assisted reproductive technologies. Following this robust exchange, the Cabinet Secretariat considered the need for legislation in this area.
However, the Minister of Health, Jane Ruth Acheng, distanced herself, saying she was never consulted by the mover of the bill.
The bill needs comprehensive input, addressing all the gaps, rethinking, not being a council or a committee to run it, and then we can move forward with it. There is a RIA, and we need to be issued a certificate of financial concessions. Without that, it will be another bill that will be on the shelves.
Opendi insists that the Minister of Health needs to consider this matter because such services currently go unregulated.
We talk about fertility care services, we are looking at not just the reproduction, but also There are women with challenges, with complications. They may need surrogacy services. So we need also to regulate that so that there is no abuse. Because as you are aware, there has been cries or allegations of human organ harvesting. So supposing some people are busy giving birth to children with the purpose of, eventually harvesting their organs. So we need to be careful and regulate some of these services that are being provided in the country currently. We have people who want to turn Uganda into a commercial hub for surrogacy. We as a country, as Ugandans, we have our cultural values. We have our family values. So some people can produce, use surrogate services to produce children and go and actually harvest their organs. It's possible. So we need to ensure that these services are provided based on certain principles and whatever the law will actually dictate. So this is why the committee has processed this bill, and the bill was ready for the second reading. However, the Ministry of Health is now saying they also want to process a similar bill.
And this is a sector that lends itself to a lot of abuse, including foreigners taking advantage of the lack of a legal and regulatory framework led by government. And I'm happy that this meeting is intended to achieve alignment and harmonization. Number 3, the legal and regulatory framework.
The Uganda Electoral Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, says the commission held discussions with security chiefs to address concerns raised by the public. These concerns include fears about how security handled errant supporters, leading to scenes of violence. Byabakama expressed regret over the incidents witnessed during the Kawempe North by-election process, acknowledging that they could have been avoided. He emphasizes that the people of Uganda desire peace, which is a critical element of their well-being. The electorate of Kawempe North will go to the polls to elect a new member of parliament for their constituency.
First of all, I want to assure the people of Kawempe North that the by-elections are going to take place. On the 13th, the voters will be able to determine who is to replace the late Honorable Muhammad Segirinya as their Member of Parliament. Now, what has been happening, of course, as we have seen on our TV screens and so on, about the ugly incidents of violence between security and some supporters of NUP is very unfortunate, and in our view, it can be avoided. But that does not mean that this has set the template for what the 2026 general elections are going to be like, or to play out, as we have heard from some actors. We have we summoned the security chiefs yesterday, members of Uganda Police Force, ISO, UPDF. We had a meeting in this commission boardroom, and we pointed out the issues that have emerged during these by-elections and the image it is giving about the whole process, and the concerns and the fears it is raising among the populace. And we are saying, as people responsible for law, for enforcement of law and order, I think it is within the security agencies to devise other ways of confronting or addressing the challenges that are being raised or that are being posed at them by some actors. I think the critical thing that we have to recognize that, look, the people of Uganda need peace at all material times. Even during elections, peace is a critical aspect and element of their existence and of their participation in the electoral process, particularly for the people of Kawempe North. So we want to assure the people that we are going to engage. In fact, NUP has written to us. They have requested for a meeting. We are going to invite them for a meeting. We also hear from them. and also put across to them the message that we've been putting across, that all of us Ugandans should work together. We should have a common voice and say we want peace, no matter the disagreements, no matter the disappointments, but when it comes to peace, that should be a common factor that requires us all to get together and say, for the sake of peace, let us behave and conduct ourselves in this manner. So come 2026, I believe, working together with this resolve, with this determination that we want peace in our country, we shall have a peaceful exercise.
Now, still with Kawempe North, Hajat Farida Nambi, holding the NRM party flag, has intensified her campaign efforts as she seeks votes to represent Kawempe North in Parliament. Now, she has been moving door to door, urging residents to support her in the upcoming elections on the 13th.
Today, she spent her time traversing different areas, including Perere, Sekati, Sekanyonyi, Lusanja, Namere, and others. Everywhere she went, she engaged with the locals, listening to their concerns and promising to address their needs once elected.
To help this constituency, General Katumba Wamala, I hope you can hear me. I'm going to knock on your door, my dear friend, to see that we work and salvage the situation to do with infrastructure, whether with graders or whether the roads that have been in the final stages of being tarmacked, they should be tarmacked. So that the people who sell foodstuffs, the people who sell their items on this road can be able to sell in peace, and they can be able in turn to pay taxes for government.
Residents voiced their struggles, particularly complaining about the dusty and poorly maintained roads that make daily life difficult. Upon reaching Lusanja, she was met with outcries from residents who pointed to the contaminated water they are forced to drink. Former NRM primary candidate George Onesmus Mutumba also weighed in, speaking about the dire condition of St. Stephen Road.
We are now heading to Mperere Parish, where we have two zones only, Sekati and Sekanyonyi. These zones, we are moving door to door to see that our candidate, Nambi Farida, succeeds or goes through. We are here and the roads are not well. The trenches are really getting worse. Here, people die every single day. Last week, we lost a border man from here. But we are telling you, we are moving forward to see that these things are worked upon. This is a very bad situation here in Mperere zone, and we urge you to vote for NRM to see that these things go through or we succeed through.
Mariam Nagirinya, the widow of the late Segirinya, is among those backing Hajat Nambi's campaign. The director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, also officially welcomed new members who had defected from Hanifa Kaladi's camp to join NRM, along with several other local leaders who pledged their allegiance to the party.
Mugende bulungi mukubaka lulu kamwe mulonde Nambi Farida mulonde basi era mbakakasa tewali ajja bakwatako tewali ajja bakolako kibi kyonna.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, Hajat Farida Nambi is not the only candidate using the door-to-door method, but most candidates in the Kawempe North parliamentary by-elections have resorted to the same and business-to-business campaigns. Now, according to these candidates, the door-to-door campaigns gives them time to interact with more residents than rallies.
Christians in Uganda and around the world have today begun the fasting season of Lent, this Ash Wednesday. To start a 40-day Lenten season, Christians flocked to their different churches for prayers, during which they received ashes as a symbol of humility and repentance, also signifying commitment to turning away from sin. In Kampala, prayers were held in different churches, including Rubaga Cathedral, Christ the King Church, Namugongo, and Mbuya Catholic Church, among others. At Rubaga Cathedral, the main service for Ash Wednesday was animated by the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, His Grace Paul Semogerere. During the service, the Archbishop reminded Christians that Lent is not about starving to save on meals, but exhibiting actions of faith and obedience to God.
Kubanga abamu bakyali bato naye aba secondary school baba bakuzeekuzeeko era naye nga kibuvudde buye leka kulumisa abaana njala kubanga sente tezimala nogaa leero tujja kusiiba temuli bakatoliki ennaku zino week namba ffenna tusiibe kubanga oyagala okekkereza sente.
He made emphasis to Christians to engage in prayers, fasting and almsgiving throughout the season, renounce sinful behaviors and seek forgiveness in their lives.
Kereziya yateekawo entereeza kati ate eragagga okwerondera tugamba n'osalawo zinja kusiiba kino kyekibadde kintawaanya kaakati mbadde nnywa nnyo waragi nja kukendeeza ku waragi okubunywa kabonero kalungi akukudde eri Omukama. Nja kusiiba butageya bannange butavuma butasooza kwegendereza byonna nkola nnungi okulaba ku
At Christ the King, Christians were also asked to renew their faith through their actions, because Lent is the only period for spiritual self-examination and personal growth for Christians.
Sometimes people come to us and maybe they put anger in our mind, in our hearts. Simply tell them, you are lucky, we are in Lenten season. You are lucky. After it, we shall see.
Among the Christians who attended the service was also the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo. Fasting during Lent is not about abstaining from food, but also about self-discipline and sacrifice. It serves as a reminder of the sacrifice made by Jesus and encourages believers to practice self-reliance in various aspects of life. Susan Naonga, reporting for UBC TV.
All right, now we apologize for that. Now that is a story of the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, His Grace Paul Semogerere, who called upon Christians to use the Lent season to help the needy, emulate Jesus in actions, and thank God for a gift of life. Now, the Archbishop also reminded Christians that Lent is not about starvation to reduce the cost of meals, but exhibiting actions of faith and obedience to God. Now, of course, this was during his Ash Wednesday sermon as he animated the first service at Rubaga Cathedral in Kampala. Now, back to DP. Now, most of the candidates in the Kawempe North parliamentary by-elections have resorted to the door-to-door campaign and business-to-business campaigns. Now, according to the candidates, the door-to-door campaigns give them more time to interact with more residents than the rallies. We have the story.
Democratic Party candidate Henry Kisatsa Mubiru is one such a candidate who has resorted to door-to-door campaigns. He spent the entire Wednesday searching for votes in Kawempe 1 parish in the villages of Chilokole, Kakungulu, Mbogo, Katfarao, Kalule, Kisewera, and Kiza Zone, with the message of redefining leadership.
We are moving door to door. We are talking to the people. We are trying to explain our program. We are trying to explain our manifesto. They are asking us so many questions. The people are concerned about accountability. They have lost faith in leadership, and we are trying to give them the assurance that this is the time we must renew leadership. We must have accountable leadership.
Kasacha pledged to fix the challenges facing the border riders in Kampala and beyond.
We are coming to talk to them about the issues that are affecting them. Our door-to-door campaign has enabled us to explain to the people, and we are making a connection between their votes and their lives, their votes and their well-being, their votes and their income, their votes and their wealth.
He, however, expressed concerns over the short time given for campaigns in a big division like Kawempe North.
Explaining to the people in this limited time is very difficult. Kawempe is very big. We have 9 parishes and so many zones. So
other candidates in door-to-door campaigns include the FDC's Muchibi Sadat, also known as Khalifa Aganaga, the People's Progressive Party's candidate Ismail Musitwa, and other independents, all arguing people to vote for them. Meanwhile, the NRM's Farida Nambi and that of the NUP candidate Arias Nalukola have opted for rallies. The candidates are already 5 days into the campaigns and have another 5 days for campaigns before the voting on 13th March. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Thank you, Philip Aguta. Now, the Archbishop of Uganda, His Grace Right Reverend Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has called on Christians to use the Lent period as a time of deep reflection, urging them to turn away from sin and focus on spiritual growth. Kazimba was preaching during the Ash Wednesday service at Parliament.
Lent is a 40-day season of prayer, fasting and reflection, where Christians focus on the suffering of Jesus Christ in the wilderness. The Anglican Community of the Parliament of Uganda joined Christians across the world to commemorate Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the Lent season. The Archbishop of Uganda, Late Reverend Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, was the main celebrant at the service.
And faithful to forgive us all our iniquities.
In his sermon, Kazimba urged believers to use this time to reflect on their lives and cleanse themselves of anger and sin.
The Ash Wednesday and Lent is a time for self-examination. It's a time for our evaluation, for our spiritual lives, with God, but also with one another. Very, very important.
He also advised security operatives to refrain from mistreating citizens, emphasizing that all individuals are created in God's image and deserve respect.
We also need a peaceful nation, harmonious nation. That's why we need to learn to stand with others. Security should learn to handle people very well. Because sometimes it is too much when you say, but now, even cows are not beaten like that.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taibwa, who spoke on behalf of the Speaker, commended His Grace Kazimba for his purifying sermon. He also encouraged leaders to serve with integrity and uphold the highest moral standards.
That Lent is a period of reflection, a period of confession, a period of renewal. I hope from here we shall go back strengthened and renewed to be driven by integrity, by justice, and by compassion in whatever we do as leaders, especially during our legislative duties. I believe your message was so strong that it can't leave us the same.
Rebecca Nantongo, Gloria Guitabinji, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but return with more stories after these messages.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hey, Nkowe High School nawana tufunyewo muwanguzi owa MTN Momo ye wangude school fees ez'omwaka mulamba tebereza owulira otya mutima kati
bannange essanyu lyennyina lya mwokiwago nyanjaganyangu wamali bwalonze erinnyo
esisi
njaani awangula school fees
eza Momo ez'omwaka
okumala omwaka mulamba ndi musanyufu.
Oh my goodness.
Bannange MTN neyanze
wangi
mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala
nkubiriza muzadde munnange yonna gy'oli wallahi sasulya school fees ku Momo Pay.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Osmosis again. Osmosis tried to pay. Money wasn't enough. He checked every pocket. Money wasn't enough. Osi, we're sorting it. With the Momo, we're sorting it. Osmosis checked again. Money still not enough. He looked everywhere.
Hey, but Chief, what is going on?
Osi, we're sorting it. With the Momo, we're sorting it.
When your money is not enough, we're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *5 hash to add call with Momo Advance and pay bills, send money or buy bundles.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad you're still with us here on UBC News Tonight. Now, in more news this evening, the China Water Engineering and Electrical Corporation has considered an option to construct a new spillway at Isimba hydropower dam as a response to the defects of the old spillways. The spillway baffle blocks are facing serious erosion 4 years after Isimba hydropower dam was commissioned. Now, the China Water Engineering Vice President Wang Yongtian has committed to ensure that the 2 trillion shillings project is not wasted. However, the construction of the new spillway comes at a separate cost, which will only be determined after a physical model test is done.
According to China Water Electrical Engineering Corporation, the excessive water volumes discharged through the spillway during the long-term flood of River Nile since 2020 brought unexpected impacts to the Isimba hydropower project. This witnessed the concrete of the buffer blocks being washed away, threatening the structural integrity of the dam. The underground investigations show threatening images of the eroded buffer blocks, which, if left unattended to, may cause havoc to the dam. Negotiations to have remedial works have for long been discussed by the relevant stakeholders, but in vain.
This one has come very short of its design life. This is why we are going through this model tests, which will prescribe or evolve some of the reasons.
The Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, led by Soroti City East MP Herbert Ariko, held several meetings with the stakeholders, including the employer, owner's engineer, Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, and the contractor China Water Electrical Corporation, to save the Euros 567 million project. The contractor CWE has been hesitant on the need to undertake a river diversion to allow a dry inspection and repair of the defected spillways.
Since it carried with it a huge amount of determination on the next courses of actions on safeguarding the dam, no matter the disagreement that they had between themselves, it had to be resolved.
After a series of negotiations, CWE bowed down to pressure to consider an option to construct another spillway. This will reduce the pressure on the existing spillways as the repair works are being undertaken.
We will continue to take our action and work very close to, and we try to complete all these defect repair works and complete this work as quick as possible. Thank you.
However, the cost of the new spillway will be determined after all the relevant tests, including physical model test, are carried out.
And then the insurance of the dam, of the spillway itself, has to be determined. When you put this together, it is not anything less than $150 million.
Because the physical model test had two crucial things that it had to deliver. One, to help us determine the actual causes of the defects and degeneration of the spillway. Two, to establish the capacity of water or the run of the river that the spillway could be able to withstand over a certain period of time.
This is not the first time the contractor CWE commits to solutions of the defects on the spillway. Professor Wang Yongtian, the Vice President of CWE, agreed with the stakeholders of short-term strategies.
But the important thing is that are we addressing the challenges we've got? The answer is yes.
This conclusion, in layman understanding, fronts a second chance to the contractor after recent investigations found that CWE lacked capacity to complete Isimba hydropower project. Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited warned that any flooding beyond 4,000 cubic meters may be a danger to the spillways.
Now, when the members of the spillway are subjected, the material members, one, it will help determine whether or not the material that is used for the construction of the spillway was one which could withstand the pressures of the water and in what capacity and for whatever period. Number two, that the tests will reveal to us what exactly were the causes as to why the spillway degenerated much faster.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, Parliament has approved a loan of a little over $18 million by the government as additional financing for the Uganda Cancer Institute, sourced from the African Development Fund of the African Development Bank Group. This funding will support the East Africa Center of Excellence for Skills and Tertiary Education in Biomedical Science Phase 1 project. The project is aimed at expanding treatment and care facilities at the Cancer Institute, while continuing to support high-level education, clinical training and research at the facility.
For the loan was presented to the House by the State Minister for Finance, Henry Busasizi, on the 28th of November
2024 and was subsequently referred to the Committee on National Economy for further scrutiny. Upon consideration, the committee noted that the Uganda Cancer Institute has been struggling with a high annual load of cancer patients coupled with inadequate infrastructure, which has hampered its ability to deliver effective services.
Honorable Speaker, as the committee was considering this request, we toured Mulago and Cancer Institute, and we saw the situation there with patients on the floor, in the corridors, and everywhere.
Parliament endorsed the proposal to allow the government to borrow these funds, highlighting the urgent need to enhance treatment capabilities at the Uganda Cancer Institute.
Go to the Cancer Institute, Mulago. You will see real pathetic situations.
In my view, this is a loan we should have borrowed yesterday, but all the same, it is here, and I stand to support so that we build our own capacity to manage it.
In favor, say and to the contrary. The ayes have it.
The additional funding will be allocated to the completion of infrastructure at the Uganda Cancer Institute, supporting clinical training and research, and providing care for cancer management.
The project will therefore reduce the cost of treatment abroad of approximately between US$ 100 to 300 million spent by the government of Uganda on care abroad.
Some members of parliament raised concerns regarding the effectiveness and proper utilization of the loan.
Component of government commitment, but there are many loans that have passed in the House here, and there has not been any government commitment.
We expect some change. When we avail you with such finances, we expect something to be done at a quick speed.
However, a proposal was made by State Minister for Health, Hanifa Kawoya, urging the House to allocate more funds for the purchase of equipment for the Uganda Cancer Institute.
To purchase the very necessary urgent equipment, the PET scan. The PET scan. I don't think, Right Honourable Speaker, as a Minister of Health, we have tried our best.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gwitabinji, Parliament. Thank you, Lydia Chomukama and Gloria Gwitabinji. Now to some tragic news. A devastating fire has gutted the Sunrise Hotel building along Rashid Khamis Road in Old Kampala, causing significant damage to property worth millions of Ugandan shillings. Firefighters, law enforcement and rescue teams have faced considerable challenges in extinguishing the blaze. Now, according to police, the fire tragically claimed lives and many others sustaining serious injuries. The injured were evacuated and rushed to nearby health facilities. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
The fire believed to have started around 10 a.m. quickly engulfed the 6-story Sunrise building along Rashidi Kamisi Road, located just a few meters from Namayuba Park. The fire destroyed various establishments within the building, including a hotel, lodge, sauna, steam bath, massage parlor, spare parts shops and more.
Nengezo tuka nteri kisigaddewo byonna bikoleki byonna biweddewo
wansi waliyo engine nyingi omuliro mateeka guba gulina okubeera wakati ne wakati tugezezaako okutaasa abantu bangi.
Situation is so clear. Property has been destroyed. Currently, business is on standstill. Already it has been disrupted.
Rescue and fire teams faced significant difficulty in controlling the flames, which led them to cut doors, dismantle glass, and break into the building to save both people and property inside.
Tujeyo abantu tuteeseyo muguwa, abantu ne bakirira ku muguwa nga bagwa wansi ku mufarasi.
Tuyinza kutegera gavumenti wasaddenire guduze buzi ne tugeza kutaasa abantu naye abantu obwedda bava waggulu ne bagwa.
Rescuers were seen throwing items they had salvaged, such as property through broken windows to those waiting outside. However, some were seen drinking beers and expensive liquor that had been rescued from the fire. Firefighters and rescuers used ropes to assist in rescuing trapped individuals and their belongings. Unfortunately, reports also emerged of some rescuers looting items, including flat-screen TVs. As looting increased, law enforcement intervened, firing rubber bullets into the air to disperse the growing crowd and prevent further theft. The crowd is scattered in response, with some border riders fleeing, abandoning their bikes. Various Kampala leaders, including Minister Misa Kabanda, Kampala Lodi Mayor Arias Lukwago, and the Kampala Central Mayor Salimu Uhuru, visited the scene.
With the ghetto boys who have assisted these people, because they broke through the windows and they rescued these people. Because they're ignorant, but at least they managed to evacuate our people.
This ought to be an approved structure. All structures in the city ought to be approved because some of the requirements for the building, like a fire hydrant, are in place. And if there is any other disapproval or concern about the building, we shall establish it.
That tells volumes about the capacity we have as a country to contain fire, our resilience competences, and also the equipment we have to be able to manage disasters of this nature.
I appeal to the landlords, whoever does not have water hydrants, I am sorry, we're going to close your business. We're going to close your property. So kindly make sure by next month we are not going to discuss anything.
RPC Kampala North SSP Moses Nanoko confirmed that investigations into the cause of the fire and the resulting loss of life and property are ongoing.
As you see, we are fighting the fire. We have not yet established the damage, the deaths, the injuries, those who are injured. So we are requesting that we get some more time and we shall give you a proper brief in regards to what has happened. Otherwise, at the moment, we are trying to create an atmosphere where we are going to do a proper evaluation and we give you a proper report.
The bodies of those who lost their lives in the fire have been taken to Mulago City Mortuary, while the injured victims were referred to nearby hospitals for treatment. I'm Ivan Juko and Stephen Kayumba for UBC.
Very tragic indeed. Now, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, has urged the newly sworn-in Health Service Commission members to uphold integrity and prioritize merit in their recruitment processes. Now, this follows reports by the Inspectorate of Government indicating that 85% of the jobs in this country are usually issued based on corruption.
Presiding over the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed 7-member Health Service Commission in Kampala, Minister of Health Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng congratulated the Commission members and emphasized the critical role they play in ensuring the recruitment of competent health workers.
That the people that you are recruiting are people who are passionate, committed, and patriotic. And I want to repeat that, who are passionate, committed, and patriotic.
The new commission is chaired by Dr. Henry Gatianga Mwebesa, formerly the Director General of Health Services, deputized by Dr. Christine Kakuru Chomhanji, and members Dr. Nathan Walufu Onyachi, Dr. Mary Namoviru, Stephen Peter Ayisu, Janet Apai Akumu, and Thomas Ochwa Obua. Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng acknowledged the existing challenges within the health sector, including significant vacancies constrained by a limited wage bill.
You are assuming duty at the Commission at a time when healthcare is at the forefront of our national development agenda. Government has made significant strides in reforming and improving our healthcare systems, but more remains to be done. This includes strengthening recruitment and retention of skilled health workers, ensuring equity in healthcare service delivery, and enhancing the overall well-being of medical professionals.
The newly appointed chairperson, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, asserted that they are to adhere to timeliness and minimize bureaucratic hurdles.
Now, I want to sound a caution to my fellow commissioners. Now, sir, these commissioners you see here, none of them applied for this job. Some of them actually got to know about the appointment when the letter was in the circulation. No one of you applied for this job. Why am I saying this? His Excellency the President relied on soul searching for hardworking people, people with integrity. So these people were identified on that basis by the appointing authority. So we must do our work with the highest level of integrity. We should not let down the appointing authority.
The commission members were reminded of the power and authority vested in them, cautioning against its abuse and emphasizing the importance of executing their duties diligently.
Honorable Minister, we are all aware of the vision of Health Service Commission. If I picked it correctly, the vision is to have a motivated, competent, and adequately staffed health workforce for quality health services delivery. What a vision.
The newly sworn-in commission is expected to address the pressing human resource challenges in Uganda's health sector, ensuring that recruitment and management practices align with principles of integrity and meritocracy. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. The Minister for Presidency, Millie Babidie Babalanda, has reaffirmed government's commitment to accelerating efforts to end HIV/AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. Speaking during a meeting organized by the Uganda AIDS Commission and the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs, Babalanda emphasized that the government will lobby for increased budget allocations to sustain HIV/AIDS treatment despite the impact of the recent U.S. executive order.
Uganda has made significant progress in reducing HIV infections and AIDS-related mortality. This success has largely been driven by donor-funded programs. However, the U.S. executive order to pause aid for 90 days poses a major challenge to the country's HIV response.
Highlight the challenges this response is likely to face in view of the executive orders that were issued by the President of the United States.
The suspension of U.S. aid will result in a drastic reduction in essential supplies, such as a 30% decrease in life-saving antiretroviral, 70% reduction in laboratory supplies, 50% drop in condom availability, 80% cut in pre-exposure prophylaxis commodities PrEP, and a complete halt in male circumcision kits, among others.
100,000 new HIV infections in Uganda. So now when we are seeing about 38,000 in a year. And the AIDS-related deaths have also reduced from about 53,000 in a year to now less than 20,000.
Health experts warn that failure to sustain HIV response efforts could trigger a resurgence of infections. Projections indicate that if condom use drops by 50% between 2030-2035, Uganda could face a new wave of HIV infections.
We are not at the level where we would wish to be at this point in time, especially given the fact that we set, as a country, we set ourselves a goal of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
Minister Babalanda reassured Ugandans that the government will not remain passive while citizens' lives are at risk. She reiterated that authorities are committed to finding alternative funding solutions to ensure continued access to HIV prevention and treatment services.
And use of condoms should be promoted, protect the generation from acquiring HIV. Uganda will continue to promote research, scientific innovations, and data-driven programming.
Mary Namkose, Mike Bakabulindi, UBC News.
Civil society organizations under the Positive Discipline Coalition have raised concerns over the continued use of corporal punishment on children, despite its proven long-term negative effects. The coalition is now calling for the urgent adoption of positive discipline methods that correct children's behavior without causing physical or emotional harm.
Through the Ministry of Education and Sports officially banned corporal punishment due to its harmful consequences. However, reports indicate that some authorities continue to practice it.
So our teachers actually do not know some of the circulars within their own ministry that supervises them. They don't know about the 5 circulars, especially the last circular that banned corporal punishment. When they see civil society and organizations talking against corporal punishment, they actually think it's because they are funded.
Studies reveal that children subjected to physical violence often suffer long-term effects, such as depression, learning difficulties that hinder creative thinking, and in some cases, school dropouts.
On top of the loss of learning that happens because children are fearful, on top of the loss of creativity, the children are not actually coming out and presenting themselves and achieving all the milestones they should achieve academically.
Are things I think that we need to go back and revisit and actually adopt.
Yvonne Laroni, a child rights activist with Raising Voices, emphasizes the importance of prayer orientation in schools to help children make informed decisions.
What's really going on in their lives, we need to allow them to be able to self-express, to really talk about what's going on in their lives so that we understand and we are able to help them.
The coalition has developed a set of alternative disciplinary measures that they recommend schools adopt instead of corporal punishment. These approaches focus on fostering responsible behavior through constructive and non-violent methods.
About the practice of disciplining children without inflicting pain or harm. The use of punitive disciplinary methods like beating, verbal insults, shame, etc. have been studied and found to cause long-term negative effects on children. We have conducted studies here in Uganda, in other African countries, but also globally, that demonstrate that corporal punishment adversely affects a learner's self-image as well as school achievement.
Mary Namkose, Mike Bakabulindi, UBC News.
All right, and now into the business scene. Coffee exporters have been granted a 1-year extension to comply with the new European Union regulations requiring deforestation-free products. The EU ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Jan Sadek, has urged stakeholders in the coffee value chain to utilize this time effectively to meet the required standards. This was on an oversight visit at the National Coffee Research Institute to assess the progress of the EU-funded coffee projects as well as sensitization on the EU directives. We have more.
In December 2024, the European Union introduced stringent regulations on exportation of deforestation-free products to the EU market. Speaking to officials from NARO, the EU ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Jan Sadek, asked coffee farmers to embrace these regulations open-heartedly.
It is rather a consumer-driven effort to make sure that when the European coffee drinkers, all those millions, those that drink 7 kilos per year, when they do that, they want to be certain that they have not caused deforestation and therefore climate change in other countries. And the European Commission has actually extended now the period for implementation 1 year. So I think this will be fine during this year.
NARO's collaboration with France and the EU is intended to accelerate coffee research as well as providing financial support to smallholder farmers. French Ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Xavier Sticker, reaffirmed this.
13 PhDs are supported by this project, and that will enhance the capacity of science in Uganda in the coffee sector. But that applies, and you are right to mention that, and to the smallholder farmers.
The Director General NARO, Dr. Yona Baguma, appealed to the ambassadors to strengthen capacity in coffee research. He emphasized the need to enhance coffee breeding and transform the National Coffee Research Institute into a leading research center.
If you have any little more support, the place where to put that support is NARO. And why? The works of NARO go beyond the borders of Uganda and meet favor in many homes in the European bloc and in the rest of the world. We should be able to make this center a hub of excellence in coffee research in the region.
Despite coffee being a major contributor to Uganda's GDP, climate change remains a significant threat to smallholder farmers. NARO has now developed new drought and pest-resistant coffee varieties to sustain production.
And one of the biggest challenges that climate change has brought about, of course, is for the smallholder farmer. It has many, but the most pronounced one, in my view, is the prolonged droughts, which is also associated to the unpredictability of the seasons. You are never sure when the rains are starting, when they start, how long they will last. And therefore, you need varieties like the ones that they have been showing us here that are drought tolerant.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Now, after a long while of individual independence that hasn't helped their cause, Kampala region dealers in furniture have come together under Kampala Wood Furniture Manufacturers Association. We have more details in this report.
When the Uganda government launched the Skilling Uganda program in 2012, it aimed to improve skills development and create a more competitive workforce. At the start, few Ugandans openly welcomed this idea that targeted reforming the business, technical and vocational education and training sector. But fast forward, and as the initiative starts on its second decade, many have embraced it and joined the money economy. What has been lacking for some like those in the furniture trade has been leadership, an issue that is now in the past after formation of Kampala Wood Furniture Manufacturers Association.
And the main aim is to foster cooperation and share best practices, help our people to improve standards and also create employment opportunities among the youth. There are so many challenges that are affecting the furniture industry in Uganda, such as quality, lack of standard, sourcing of materials, sourcing of the right human resource, people who know what they do in terms of craftsmanship. If we come together in this association, we can be able to answer all those bottlenecks that the furniture industry is facing.
The association that targets a membership of about 10,000 people will enable a bloc to negotiate issues like rent, which is exorbitant, and also form a savings and credit cooperative organization.
It's so expensive. Babisera tubipangisiza mu dola tericha Uganda currency kati weewuunya omubazi okuba nti apangisa ekintu mu dola bane ekiba kiyitiridde
okuba obumu okufuna obumu mu kitundu kyaffe n'okuyamba kuba n'okufuna sako etuyamba ng'omuntu afunye obuzibu abaana bafuna obuzibu wano eno naye nga tebalina buyambi tufuna abamu balina obulimu bwabwe asobola okufuna akalimu ke yeetaaga sapooti naye nga talina wajja ssente.
It also intends to channel information to members, especially on the key issues in their trade, like environmental conservation.
And now into sports. The Uganda Under-17 boys national team, the Cubs, continue with training in preparation for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. The team continues to rotate in different fields before traveling to Morocco at the end of this month. The Under-17 AFCON starts on the 30th of March to April 19th, and before that, Federation of Uganda Football Association says they will do whatever it takes to ensure readiness for the boys.
Yeah,
Yeah, so far the environment is very good because we have good coaches, managers. Yeah, so far training is not bad. We are still working hard. We are still working hard, and I want to represent my country, Uganda.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. Do enjoy much more of UBC Television's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Yusuf Senyamo. We do wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
All right, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hey, Nkowe High School. Now wana tufunye wo muwanguzi owa MTN Momo. Ye wangu de school fees ezo mwaka mulamba tebereza. Hey, owulira otya mutima kati.
Banange sanyu byenyina lya mochi wago nyanjaga nyangu amali walonze erinyo.
Esisi?
Njani awangula school fees.
Eza Momo.
Eza Momo.
Ezo mwaka mulamba.
Okumala mwaka mulamba ndi musanyu.
Oh my goodness.
Banange MTN mwenye yanza ne yanze.
Wanje?
Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.
Nkubiriza muzadde munange yonna gy'oli. Wallahi sasulia school fees for Momo Pay.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
All right, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
International Women's Day is celebrated annually on 8th March. It is a time to reflect on progress made, to call for change and to celebrate acts of courage and determination play by women. On Saturday, 8th March, Uganda will join the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day. The national celebrations will be held in Chankwanzi district under the theme Accelerate Action for Gender Equality. The President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will be the chief guest. Join us for the live broadcast to witness outstanding women receive medals in recognition of their achievements and contributions to the country. Happy Women's Day.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. It's a very beautiful day today and I'm so excited because it's the month of women. When we talk about women, what comes to my mind is like you're building a nation because women define society, women define a nation. We are the frontiers of what they call community upbringing of children and also making sure that the home is nurtured well and everything moves smoothly. If you want to know the truth, try to compare a home which has a wife or a woman and a home without a wife. Actually, in the Bible and in the Quran, they say that a home becomes a home when a woman is in the home. And then, of course, the blessings of children. And that's why today in this particular program, we are going to talk about women issues as usual, but also giving more credit to the month of women. We celebrate everyone. Actually, every woman who is out there, I want to wish you a happy month. I also want to bring to your attention that we are auditioning for yet another second episode of the most inspiring story here on Super Soul Sisters, which is supposed to run on 27th and 28th of March, this very month. So if you have a story that you think is worthy sharing, a story that will impact empathy, a story that has a story in it that you think should be heard, and you know that it is realistic, it is a very good story, please come for audition on the 27th and the 28th here on UBC premises. We shall be waiting for you. And the beauty about this time around, we don't want to leave the boy child behind. So we are requesting also the boy child, if you have a good story, please come for auditions. And you know these stories of ours, those who win actually get some bursaries. So that is the best we can give you as Super Soul Sisters because we want to make sure that the education of the girls moves forward. And then also on the other hand, I've been talking about these 20K for transformation, and I believe that even if you contribute very little as 20,000 minimum, you can change the life of a girl child. So I want to interest you to contribute. We shall be putting the pay codes just running on the screen so that you pay directly. This program is fronted by FAWE, Uganda, and FAWE is one of those organizations that makes sure that girls are not left behind. Now, today we have one of our senior teachers in this country. She has walked the talk of teaching children, of nurturing children, and you know, this is one of the professions that people overlook. But to me, as Jamila, I believe that if you've not gone through the hands of a teacher, you cannot be a normal person. Because up to date, there are some teachers that taught me, and I still remember them. Because a teacher is one person that takes you through most of your life. Imagine you're at home, children at home for maybe a month or 3 weeks holiday, but the 3 months, they go back to school, and mostly like about 9 months of our time, children are in school rather than at home. So teachers really play a very big role in shaping us, and especially women. So with that said, I want to welcome one of our senior teachers from Kololo SS. She is one of those ladies that I believe you need to hear her story. So you're most welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Senior teacher, when I talk about senior teachers, I mean those teachers who went through TTC, who went through training, who came as student teachers. For those of you who have been in high school, you understand what I'm talking about. We would always look forward to when student teachers are coming to teach us because they would come with a lot of vibe. So these are some of the teachers that we are seeing here today. So Madam Akol, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Jamila.
You can take us through. So Madam Akol, Akol is a name that comes from different places.
Yes, please.
I know that where I come from, we have Akol.
Yes.
And it's shared with both men and female.
Yes.
And then also in Ilango, there is a call.
Yes.
I think those are the places which have a call. Then even if you go to Kenya, the Turkana also have a call.
They do.
And then in Sudan, we have the Songa, which also are in the Teker group.
Yes.
They also have a call.
Yes.
So I want to know, is a call the name you were given birth to, or a call is the name you got after?
A call is a name that I attained by birth, and I am a proud Muteso from Soroti, so I am a typical Muteso. Original, 311. I can say that.
So if I told you now that Emuria Kolia.
Koliai.
Eh?
We say Koliai.
Koliai.
Yeah, meaning that the things that we do must continue. There must be continuity. That's the meaning
generations
of it.
Should
Generations
come
should continue.
No, I'm glad.
Yes,
you know, it is, I think, my first time to host them in the show. And it's
honored.
so interesting.
Yes.
So now, Madam Akol,
yes, please.
you said you are from Soroti.
Yes.
Could you walk us through, like, where you were born, which schools you went to in your primary, and maybe nursery, all those?
Incidentally, I did not attend nursery. My nursery was in a home school.
Yes.
Where we learned to cook, you know, those days.
Yes.
Because I want to first begin by saying I'm now 23, I'm going to 24 years of being a teacher.
Wow.
So you can now calculate my years back. But my school, I never attended what we call nursery, no. But I'm so proud that out of the stage where I would have gone for nursery, I learned how to cook. I learned how to take care of the young ones. That was perfect. So my first school was Madra Girls. Madra Girls, we had Madra Girls for the girls, and then Madra Boys for the boys, and then Madra Girls for Madra Boys, the blind school.
Yes.
Yes, we would have the same borehole. Yes, so I was there from P1 to P4. But that's the time when there was a lot of insurgency. And my brother was working in Makerere, that is Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. So he said, this girl cannot be spent. So he brought me. So my P5, I started from Makerere Primary. That is Kapipa, there's yellow this side, of course. Then Makerere Primary the other side. So we used to climb the hill. Yeah. So from there, I came to Ahmadiyya. Ahmadiyya Muslim High School is just around Wandegya.
Yes,
around Wandegya. It's a Muslim school, but I wasn't a Muslim. But it was a nice school. It was a simple school. That's where my brother could afford. Yes, and that's where I finished my O-level from. So I switched on. I went back again to Bugwere High School.
Wow.
Bugwere High School, Budaka, that is Mbale, around Mbale.
Yes. I know Budaka.
That's where I have spent my A-level from. And from there, you know, it's like now touring Uganda. I went to Western, Mubende. I call it Central Western, somehow
that
there.
Teachers training school.
Yes. So that is the training school where I was first trained as a teacher. So I got my diploma from there, and I completed in 2001. Wow. Yes. So it is where I started my life from. And I was very happy that in my second year, I started teaching, and I was sourced by my lecturer to through a connection of a teacher, that is St. Charles Luanga, that is Madam Grace Luanga. She was proud of me and took me up, and I started making money during my second year as I was studying, and I didn't disappoint. So that's
you are one of the lucky few.
Yes.
I know Mubende. I did my internship in Mubende TTC when I was at university. So at least I have some, you know, we went there. Anyway, now coming back, what, as a girl child, because we are celebrating the month of women, before you became a teacher, how did you feel changing schools? Because I know, coming from Madera, Madera is a bit of, there's a lot of love around boarding schools. Those nuns can give you this nice feeling and then make you really feel good. And then you come to Makerere, where it's so busy. Like, there are so many things happening at the same time. And then you go to a Muslim school, then from a Muslim school, you go back to Budaka. I'm just wondering, could you share with us some of your experiences of changing schools?
Oh, I think I felt like it was an adventure to me on one side. You know, when somebody tells you you're going to Kampala, everybody was so like a heroine treated. You mean you're going to Kampala? It's like somebody seeing a Muzungu coming and wanting even to touch. So even them, they were saying, you're going to Kampala, you're very lucky. Yes, so for me, I was happy because I was being removed. I would see typically people being killed, and I never wanted to die early. So to me, it was an advantage. So when I came to Kampala, I was actually the happiest. So when I came to school, of course, the environments were different. One, I didn't know Uganda. I didn't know. So, but I was speaking English. That's the beauty of it. So everybody would like come, you know, associating with somebody who speaks what? English. So when the challenge which I could have found from that other, I remember that primary life of this side was not what I experienced from Madera girls. I'm sorry to say this, but there was a lot of caning for you to understand. Yes, I remember very well. I think I had gotten 69, 68. It was a science subject. But, you know, I thought they would forgive me. And they were canes. And to me, I had never gotten, by the way, so much caning when I was growing. So it a lot of disturbed me. I said, now, how am I going to live with this life? If I don't perform, I think I'm going to be caned. So by the way, it compelled me to work hard. It made me to get groups, constructive groups.
Discussion groups.
Yes, and I improved. In the course of it, I had to improve because it was just a trigger which was used then, though it is not okay.
Corporal punishment has been
corporal
banned.
punishment, yeah. But I think that was the way to go then, but I think it helped me somehow. So changing from again going to Budaka, coming this side, I've told you it was like an adventure. I learned to live with different people because whenever you move, you are associating with different cultures, the way they do their things, the way they associate. So you have to always to adjust. And I'm so happy that I adjusted easily. Yes, so I did not find so much a challenge with that bit of coping up with others. Because I think my parents brought me through that life. You need always to survive. Because I want to take you back, as I was growing, I never took so much time to grow with my mother. My aunties would take me, I was a nice girl. Let her come, let Rachel come. Let Rachel come to my place. So I was struggled for. And even when I came to Kampala, I was at my sister's place. She was a teacher at Madra Girls. So that's what I can say. Like,
wow.
Yes.
You are quite lucky about that.
Yes.
So, also growing up as a girl.
Yes.
Because I know that times have changed a little bit.
Yes.
When you compare, then there was kind of communal upbringing of children.
Yes, 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 yes.
Some of us were not lucky. We had tough parents who'd said, all my children have to be at home, not going to auntie, not going to what.
Yes.
So, but during that time, many people had to go, like holidays, you come when you're planning, where are you going to go? And the aunties be booking you, the uncles book you for holidays. But now, as a teacher, if you look at that time of upbringing children, which was a bit communal, comparing to now, what impact does it have to you people who teach children at school?
Yes, like you've mentioned it pretty well, that when you were growing up, that communal bit of it, because I remember there are very many children that we lived with, and that bond is still there. We keep on tracking ourselves up to today. And we would even spend a night, it was just a mere telling the mother, Mommy, I'm not going to be there. Where are you? I'm at Uncle's place with those of so and so. And you'd spend your night peacefully, or even days, and the mother was at peace, knowing that you're what? You are in safe hands. But the story has changed, that even the very parents do not want to know what is happening with the neighbor's child.
Yeah. And
the neighbor's child may not also be okay with maybe any other neighbor's child. And yet this is what is actually maybe killing some of our communities. Because if you do not have that interpersonal relationship right from wherever we are, it impacts. So whatever we are seeing in the school setting, comes right from home. If you see that this child is not sharing, this child is very aggressive, this child is an introvert, it comes right from what? Because that's the environment that has been created for them. So for us, we battle out, we don't give up, because we are mothers, second mothers, I can say to them, because I would even say first mothers, because we spend a lot of time with these children. So it is us now who are taking on the role to know now the child, to discover what the child is at home by drawing them closer, finding out from them what is the challenge here. How can we do this? And you guess what? The ones who have come out to share they really show you that there's a lot that they're undergoing. I can't say inner battles. And when they say out, few of them come out. They share with friends. And sometimes when they share with the friends, they are laughed at. They become a topic, say that. So they even also fear now to say out some of the challenges that they are facing, right? So they fear to come out because they fear to be humiliated. But the ones who are courageous, and this is what we are doing through our counseling sessions. We have counseling sessions. We want to empower the learners with that ability to come out and speak out. And guess, the head teacher's office is always open. The administration office, the senior man, the class teachers, all those departments are active in our school, and the learners are being helped. We have over 6,000 learners. And if you don't make a deliberate effort, the school can be held. But if you go to our school today, you may find out that you may fail to know whether the students are there. Why? The reason that the atmosphere has been organized. An organized system comes up with organized what? Students. And that is it. So we don't mind now that the home picture is like this. So we also handle them like the home picture. We try to bring them back to the normal way and say, guess here. Yes, the parent is tough, but you need him. So we try a lot. We engage and we do a lot of counseling. Right from the subject teacher, as you go prepare them, because they have a lot in them. They're struggling. There's a lot in their minds. One, the stage. One, they find the economy, what they're struggling with at home. You know, children coming, maybe sometimes they don't have enough scholastic materials. Yeah. You are teaching a child, but the child does not have what to use. And you need to teach a learner to understand. You don't have a set, can you do mathematics? No. So you need to, so that's when now you teach, the new curriculum is very good. You bring the collaborative kind of approach and say, you see, in the new curriculum, we encourage what? Collaboration, we encourage sharing. Please share with a friend. And you know, that is something that you're inculcating into this youth, which is not easy, of course, but they try.
That's why I'm looking at you talking, and I'm like, how do you do this? Yes. Because Kolole has quite a big number of children. Yes. It covers most of the children from Bukoto, Chevando, Chisasi, Kamocha. Because when we are going home, like in the evening, yes, you find most of them walking. Yes. And it's a day school. Yes. So there is a lot of substance abuse, yes, that has been reported in schools. Yes. And recently there was a symposium, yes, held by Dr. Nako for mental health, yes, Butabika, the head of Butabika Hospital. Yes. And the research that has come out, they say that 14 million people suffer from mental health, and most of them are graduates. Yes. People just go mental. Imagine. And these graduates, to me, by the time someone reaches a point of knocking off, like becoming not suitable to live with other people mentally, yes, it means that it has built up. Yeah. So you people who are in secondary schools, because the things start from secondary, yes, schools, how have you managed as your school, as and in your associations as teachers, what mechanisms have you devised to help these children? Because these are children, as I told you, yes, Madam Akon, they come. Some of them live in Kamocha. Probably on their way home, they find people taking marijuana, yes, cannabis, so many other things. And now there is, I think, there is a new drug that they reported again. Ministry of Health said these kids use, it's like chewing gum. Oh, yeah. I forget the name, but they chew it, yes, and they be high. And these are people who are coming to school. So yes, how have you handled that at school?
In Kololo, I'm happy we have a system. Every day at the gates, we have a special team checking these learners. Wow. When you come, actually, even it's I cannot say that it's 100%, but we are trying to engage all the possibilities of how we can manage that big population. So teachers on duty are of two categories. We have stream teachers, and then we have the teachers on duty. So this team, this big team, these are like the way you see the soldiers patrolling. Yes. So they don't rest. If you don't have a lesson, then you should be moving around to see what is happening. So right from the gate, we pick interest. When we see that you're not moving rightly, we say, please come here. then of course sometimes by sheer luck you check in the bag and you may find that there's something not okay. A gadget, can be even a phone.
Wow.
But those are minimal cases. But at least you find that there's something. What you have seen from the observation exactly, is actually what you're finding. So that means it is taking us to another project. Let us take pay keen attention to how these learners move. Their movements, the way they look at you, because they have a way how they hold those categories of people who are always wrongdoers. There's a way how their bags are ever here. And they're on run. So for us, we say, okay, that is it. Now if I see you, I say,
and they are children anyway, so they haven't yet learned that.
So you might even learn and say, maybe it's the protecting, because some of them can snatch their bags. So there are two categories. You cannot blame, but you just say, come and see. So, what is here? Why have you come late? But to see that these learners are really safe, we sensitize them. Assemblies, the head teacher, the teachers, we call them even special guests. Somebody comes and addresses on a topic, drugs and what, maybe comes and talks about, key issues. So by the time the students listen to two assemblies, that one who is in that category can easily be helped. So for us, we have even guiding sessions, classes, if it is senior 2, that we take off time from the lessons, because we realize, yes, we can teach. But when we are teaching a learner who is aggressive, who is influenced, who is under the influence of a drug,
they cannot understand.
You go to a learner and he's standing up for you. So what?
Have
how
you
can you
such
manage?
Cases?
But of course, those are rare ones. But of course, sometimes we get them. We get them from the DC. And you know and if a child is under the influence of a drug, you can easily know. Because the reactions, first of all, show you that the child is what?
Not normal.
It's not normal. And for sure, when you begin investigating and finding out, there is something that they are.
Do you sometimes expel some of these students?
Incidentally, we don't believe in expulsion, because it is our mandate to change such a child. Because when you expel, how many will you expel? You may end up expelling almost, because only God helps you to know that this is the team that is doing. What about the other one who is hidden and is not doing? So for us, as the school and the school administration, we said, no, we have to work best to see that this child is put right and engage the parent and see that we work together closely. So the DC, the disciplinary committee, the members have a full department. They have to call the parent comes. And then did you know this? Sometimes what happens, the parents do not know what happens to their children. They get surprised. Are you sure? Then you say yes.
We do get surprised, because these children hide a lot from us. And now with the gadgets, the phones have made even things worse. They're in so many groups. And sometimes they are ahead of some parents in terms of technology. Madam Akol, I want to interest you that there are parents who have not gone to school that far. You find a parent maybe stopped in senior 4, others have even stopped in P7, but they have managed to maneuver around life and try to give a future for their children. Now, some of them even do, like if you look at the literacy level of using phones in Uganda, I believe maybe like 70% or 60%. But if you go to up country, very few people know how to maneuver around. Even here in Kampala, give people a phone. People know WhatsApp, but these kids, remember you people teach them ICT in schools now.
That is
now they know softwares which can even lock something. You as a parent, especially if you're not very acquainted with new technology, you can easily miss it out.
It is true.
I have a friend of mine who said one of their neighbors had a child who was actually involved in taking drugs, but they could not know because the girl was always sleeping at night. She would say that I want to sleep, and she goes and takes drugs, and they only just saw that the kid was emaciating, starting to lose weight, losing appetite, eating. And when they dug information, they found that she was in a group of kids, WhatsApp, where they could sell those drugs of theirs, of chewing and what. And now, if you're a parent, you see your kid in the morning is okay, but at night, the kid says he's sleeping, but the sleep is actually influenced by a drug. So most of those things actually affect children. And we parents do not know, as you've said.
Yes.
But I want to again bring you to ask you something in related to that. Now, as you, that's a day school.
It is a day
you're
school.
managing.
Yes.
I haven't studied in a day school all my life, so I don't know the experience, but I can just imagine having a child, you're only responsible for that child when they're at school.
Yes.
Once they leave the gate, you are not responsible. You can only do follow-ups.
Yes.
Now, for the girl child, I want us to talk about the girl child because this is a month of women.
Yes.
We are celebrating women.
Yes, please. Yeah, a girl child, personally, I'm so passionate when it comes to a girl child because I believe that a girl child is at the center of it all. If we do not nurture a girl child, then our future is what? Is no more. So this girl child who is at the center is vulnerable. And in most cases, you know, even the Bible, who was tempted, it was Eve. She was a weak, she's a weak vessel. So even our girls are vulnerable for sure. But regarding the reproductive health, these learners, we try as much as possible to be engaging these learners into knowing themselves first. When a child knows where she is coming from actually, then she'll be able to come and tell you, share a challenge. Do you know what? We cannot even afford a meal. Now, if a girl child tells you we cannot even afford a meal at home, can she afford a pad? Those are the special cases that we are handling. In fact, in our sick bay, the senior woman's office and some administrators' offices, we cater for that. Because we know at all times, these girls will come up. Or either the friends will come and say, so-and-so has a challenge. So we also try to look into these challenges. These challenges that the learners tell us, the girls share with us, also give us ways of how to manage. You cannot teach a learner who is mentally affected by a substance.
No pads to wear.
Yes, a person, by the way, who has even no pad to wear, and you expect a learner to be in class? No. And if you do not listen to such a learner and she opens up, you will end up saying the learner is not obedient to you. So it takes us back to getting deep into these people's hearts, own them, draw them closer. Though it is not easy, some of them may deceive you. When they see also that you're on a learning ground, they will also say, now let me save this money for this, since there's a safe learning ground here.
Now the problem, kids have been corrupted.
They have been corrupted, by the way. Yeah. The way they think, they are only after, there's the selfishness, I call them selfishness has come in. It's no longer for us, but it is now mine, me.
Thank you very much for watching Super Soul Sisters. We'll be going for a break and we shall be right back. Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Luke and you're still watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Before we went for a break, we had talked about how the challenges children face in schools that teachers have to handle. But before we delve into that, I want to remind you about the 20K transformation for the girl child. Please remember to contribute as little as 20,000. So any amount above that you can contribute and save a child. And FAWE Uganda is the one in charge of that. FAWE is one of those organizations that make sure that girl child is not left behind and children go to school. But also I want to remind you about the Most Inspiring Story auditions, which is going to be running this very month, 27th to 28th. Please don't say that we didn't tell you. If you have forgotten, the auditions do not ask for a lot. You just have to come with your story and make sure that your story is that story that will make me cry, probably make me happy, make us, people, like feel you. When I talk about crying, I'm not talking about sad stories. There are tears of joy, there are tears of sadness, there are so many things that come. A story should be able to evoke emotions, and those are some of the stories we want to hear. Make sure that you pitched your story to as short as maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And that story has to be realistic, don't forge. Come with a real story, because these stories, you know that truth always sets you free. So these stories will help you get a bursary if you happen to win. But also I want to remind you that we are not leaving the boy child behind. So the boys are also, if the boys are interested, please come and audition. We shall be here at UBC, and all the team will be here, and we'll make sure that we get your story the way it is, and it will be as genuine and open and as transparent as we are. So, Madam Akol, before we go in deep to now strip it off, like some of those things, I want first you to take us through, from a teacher's perspective, take us through what are the roles we parents are supposed to be performing, and what are your roles when it comes to education?
Thank you so much. I believe a parent, number one, you see, if you look at, I bring the bit of being a fisherman. I want that moment when the parents are going to teach their children to fish, not fishing for them, right? But on the other hand, as the parents are teaching these learners to fish for themselves, they should not totally surrender. Because the moment they surrender, those are problems that we are seeing, that some of the parents have decided to surrender and are the ones who are even fronting these learners. If you ask, if a girl who is a vulnerable girl comes and asks, and the mother says, don't you know what to do? What do you expect the girl now to think about? That means the child, you've changed the mindset of the child to think from a certain angle, which was okay, to looking into ways of getting a solution. So that's why I'm saying that the parent, number one, be role models to your children. Most cases, the children, the way they behave, they get it from home. The moment a child is aggressive and is ever fighting, when you get back home, the parents are also fighting, right? If there's a vulgar language, then the language that the child is using in the class and doesn't fear the other learners is also what the parents are using at home. So being a role model is key when it comes to bringing up these learners, these children of ours. Be at the center. Morally upright child. When you look at some children who are really brought up well, you really see that even when the parents come for visitation, they depict. But again, when you see, even with the response on phone, when you're calling a parent to remind the parent of the responsibility, the response alone shows you that if the parent can talk to me like this, then what about now the child? So secondly, we also look at basic materials. It is your responsibility as a parent. And maybe that's why we hear some of these stories of children just doing funny things because they're frustrated. You know that you can frustrate your own child by not listening, number one, to the child. Some of the parents have not listened to these children. Take off time and listen. You're always, yes, your business is your business. But when you become too busy and you don't give your children time, you're going to lose out. Because when you listen, you'll get challenges from these children. Have a moment of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 on a round table. It can even be during the supper time. And know them, because some of these parents do not know their children. That's why, Jamila, I told you that a parent, you tell the parent, please come to school, there's this issue. And the parent is surprised because, one, the child has not maybe opened up to to the parent. So they're like, they're parallel, they're not at par. Yes. Then also what we can also do, guidance and counseling. By the way, I should even speak, because whatever the parent is doing, the teacher is also doing. When I say guidance and counseling, it must be from school and also from From home. These two people should do the same thing. By the way, we should be on the same page. We do guide learners from school. But if the parents are not guiding the children as is supposed, then with the guidance that the children get at school may end at the gate. As they're getting out of the gate, they're different people. So guidance should continue. Both parties should do. Yes. Then also we can also take interest on the friends. Do you know that the friends have influenced?
So much.
These groups that you see, group gang, they call them, their names that they give. And if you don't pick interest in those groups,
oh God,
then
I'm just laughing because there are so many things they have talked about. These WhatsApp groups, how they say, oh, no squad, no what.
I'm telling you, their names. And those names have codings.
Oh.
There's something that they're passing through those codes. For you, think that, it is what? This team, this kind of cocoon. But inside it, there's something that is keeping them together. Wow. Like you can say discussion group. These ones are academicians, they want to excel. So even these ones, they want to promote their what? Their their agendas. Maybe team dragging. Then maybe team coupling. They're the ones who are moving. So for you are happy. I said the children are communicating. They are becoming husbands and wives.
Yes. In front of your eyes.
In front of your eyes, moreover. The teacher, you don't know what is happening. If God helps you, you don't define a letter and say, now what is in this letter? Then you see the good words. Of course, for them, they say that is love. But for us, we call them feelings. You try to discourage and say, you girl, this boy has loved very many. Today, you see, he saw the one of eyes, he saw the one of the hips, and those are feelings, not love. The nyash. So when the boy, the time the boy goes home, he has loved 5. Then I ask them, is that love or feelings? They say, madam, it is feelings. Because if it is true love, you only love one person. And at their age, are they supposed to even be in a relationship? No. So I tell them those are feelings, and it is normal for us to have feelings. When you admire a boy, you admire a girl. It is admire and end there. Because we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. And girls are flowers. If you admire them, that's not a problem. But admire, but don't touch. Yes, have that mind. God gave us ability. I tell them, why you are different from this cock and a hen, that you have a mind, you have a decision-making ability to say, no, this is wrong. But for a cock and a hen, it can go back to its chick and again get what? Maybe. Yes. So we should actually do a lot of guidance and counseling and knowing our learners and giving them time. Also, tell the parents, take keen interest on what the children are watching. You've given them the gadgets. There are parents who are, I can't call them luxurious. They are so loving. They have too much love. And the more they have loved their children, the more they have caused harm to their children.
Maybe it's not only love. I think when you talk about love, it may not even depict the truth.
I'm putting it in quotes.
The issue of too busy for the child.
Yes.
They say, give her the phone.
Give the phone. Now, when you give the phone to your child without regulating, and also giving a remote to a child without telling the child what to. Parental guidance, usually when I watch some films, when you watch, they say, yes, parental guidance. Now, you've not guided the learner. You've given a phone. You've not regulated. You've given a remote. The child has gotten friends. You're not regulating the friends. You don't know who is a friend to me, and what is the friend doing. And some parents have taken an extra mile to even reach the families of where their children have friends from. Why? They want to know what goes on there.
In that family?
Yes, in that family. If it is not okay, then the parent will come and say, no, Grace, this is not a good friend. Can you try? But of course, you don't have to impose. Slowly by slowly process. You give some of the dangers, slowly by slowly. Otherwise, if you do it again abruptly, these are the people who have committed suicide.
From a teacher's perspective, I want you to help us understand, and being a counselor, what are some of these challenges we should look into as parents to see that such cases do not recur? Because right now, trust me, there are children out there who are maybe conceptualizing to thinking of suicide, because now the economy has changed. Even getting a school is hard. People are joining senior 5. You check the fees, they're exorbitant, as in too high. You find fees around 3 million plus. And maybe a parent has 2 children, others have just reported to school. And these kids see these things. Let me tell you the funny thing about children now, because we've been confined in one place, children don't move like before. So parents are there with children and they see the struggles that parents go through. And then there's changing a school because a child, maybe you failed to pay school fees from here and you have to change the child. And all these changes, they affect children. And actually, when you look at the graphics of children who are committing suicide, most of them, it has to deal with these small things, changing a school. The other who committed suicide in Masaka, in PG, who said that she was relieving her mother of the problems she was facing because her father was not supporting the mother, and the mother had gone through a lot. So she wanted to die so that she saves the mother. So all these things, it is related to parents and mothers and changes. So maybe you can help us today, since we have opportunity in Women's Day, to throw a light on these issues, because majority of them are actually girls who commit suicide.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jamila. You see, the setting, environment is key when we are bringing up children. And sometimes you may not blame the parents 100%, because number one, these children of this generation, 21st century learners, are hypers. They want to discover a lot that you even don't know, and a lot goes around them. But the fears of the parents should not make the children, their children, to be children who are free to do what they want. There should be a system in a home, environment in a home, where there is a dialogue within them, that when they are communicating, someone can easily express what is hurting him, what he or she is happy with, and then out of that engagement, maybe you are able to find out what is troubling this particular child. Hiding information from these children has also created. If you, maybe, let me give an example. If you've been having a job and you've been having like a well-paid job, get it, and things have changed, and the lifestyle that the child had has also changed. Changed. Now, if you just come and maybe bring out yourself with that picture that you are into the family, frustration of the other job maybe which you've lost, into the family, you're going to have the same thing affecting your wife and even your children, because you've not been able to say out. Some men hide. They keep on hiding. They can even borrow, right? Even some, maybe even some women, right? They will borrow to maintain the status quo, that things are still normal. And by doing that, more stress is coming. You have the loans. Me, what I'm actually asking, let people accept to live with the life that they are in. And then try to bring the family together to adjust to what they have. You cannot say that I don't have this. Like you have 1,000, you want to buy a kilo of meat. 1,000 buying a kilo. From this you look at mukene, because it is the immediate thing that you can buy and survive. You know, some mothers also are a problem sometimes. The pressure that maybe they put on the father, the head of the family, can also impact. So now that is already a conflict between the parents and the children. Now the children will look at the mother as the father as not what? Not doing the right thing. And the mother also actually is looking at the bit of keeping the standards of the children, avoiding humiliation. Let people talk about you and say, this, the mwagwamu, that moment of where they say, is family yagwamu. But it is just for a moment as you set up yourselves. Yeah. Accept the situation where you are right now. Tell that child, sit down. Is it okay? See the reaction from the child and do otherwise. Go back to the drawing board and say, but the way we see. Talk to him another time. But talking once, and you say, if your father say, I have said my word, you're going from this school to this school. I am not giving you this because, no, take time. Because it's like a car. There's a clash. You keep on what? Accelerating, you do what? In that, you will be knowing and also helping them to come to what? To adjust. Let the families come together. It is, yes, the economy is, everybody's crying economy. We can depict this by maybe seeing what happens in the communities where we are. That things are actually not okay. But should we now remain and say things are not okay and then leave things to go, offside? No, we have to get onto the drawing board to see what are those measures. How can we? Dialogues should be together and see the changes. How can we get there, right? How can we solve this problem together? Because the new curriculum teaches generic skills, the values. The generic skills, problem solving is one of it. The learners, the children should be having ways of solving problems. If a girl does not have a pad, should she go to a boda man?
No.
Yes? Should she now tell her problem to a boda man who is already there, placed to maybe help, or maybe has even been admiring? No. So when you disclose of some of these things, open engagement, open dialogue, that's sort of the things. My message out there to first the parents. The parents, you are the owners of these children.